man.
Oh, man. Welcome back.
Hmm.
Thank you for welcoming us back after our sabbatical week. There's a lot going on in sports, especially as it pertains to the active participants in this program. Starting with last Monday's Monday Night Football, the El Quarantinico, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But, and I will say this. Yes, L for the Raiders. The first in a sequence of several over this last week.
Yeah.
But there was also a massive rainstorm that happened right when we would have been starting the show. So probably wouldn't have been possible anyway. We chose to watch. And then Wednesday was the one-game playoff, which I'm glad I watched all of that, even though I had plenty of time to see the dramatic conclusion. I'm working on getting the share going, but we had to move the schedule back, so we get this spread out more in Facebook land shortly. But and then Friday, look, still had to watch the Dodger game. It was the first one, the first time they've ever played the Giants in the playoffs,
in the postseason. Yeah.
So we did it live. We did it in person. No show. You had to be there at Lamina Cantina on the east side, the hot spot. The east side. And I could have used several more of those after that game because they got dominated in the first game. But they bounced back strong on Saturday. We'll talk about all that. But Tyler, how was your week and your weekend? I mean, I know what you were up to on Friday, but beyond that.
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, yeah, like you said, started with my Chargers getting the win over your Raiders. So that was a good thing. C says Raiders gonna Raider.
That was the beginning in a sequence of several Raiderings.
Yes, that was the least embarrassing of their L's over the last 7 days.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was good. Like you said, Wednesday, Dodgers got the win. It's just been a really, as far as us and the show goes, it's just been like an unfortunate, like the days.
Everything's Monday,
games
Wednesday,
that are important
Friday.
to us have been on.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday is killing me right now.
We peek behind the curtain. We talked about and tried to like maybe get something together for a live Friday show, but there was just no way to do it. We also had view of a TV so we could watch the Dodgers Giants game. So we just said screw it and went.
And a fire DJ playing all the bachata hits.
That's right. But no, all in all, man, it was good. Good weekend. Good sporting weekend. Lots of great football. Of course, MLB Playoffs, always a fun time. Ron, how was your weekend, man?
It was awesome. Went up to the Central Coast, Pismo, for my grandma's 82nd, I believe, birthday. A little camp out. Did get to keep up somewhat the TV situation. We stayed at an Airbnb because we had, I guess, 4, 6, 8 of us out there. So we stayed there and then just hung out at the campsite for the festivities. But TV was pretty limited. They did have a putting green, though, which was sick.
Ooh,
so I spent a lot of time out there with, some death matches with the Baron. Good time was had by all. And back today. So did get to see a little bit of the football. Fortunately, that Sunday night game went on forever because of the lightning delay. And I saw a little bit of red zone here and there. Not basically, it was just me filling in the gaps of who got hurt. What fantasy players let me down if they didn't get hurt. And then just sort of trying to dig out from that. But we have playoff baseball right now. I have the alternate screen here so I can keep an eye on it, as I'm sure Tyler does as well.
You're gonna see me looking up and just to the left of the camera here quite a bit tonight.
Up and to the left. Up and to the left. We're through the looking glass here, people. But yes, we'll keep tabs on that. Still feeling pretty optimistic, but it's going to be a close game. Playoff. I mean, that would even 9-2. Yes, the Dodgers have it. When they're on kind of like powered offense, but it's the playoffs.
When they're off,
going to be when they're off. Woo! They can get off. Try to get one more share here. Hold on one second. Working through the Facebook thing here, so on the back end. So sorry, but Tyler did a lot of the legwork here. as far as the setup because I was in a car all day.
Yes, I was not on the road.
So where would you like to start here?
Let's just go ahead and start with a couple of side pieces here before we kind of get into the meat, which will be the MLB playoffs and, of course, the football.
All right, let's fire up some side pieces.
Get some side pieces.
Wow, 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 wow.
So, yeah, just a couple of quick side pieces here. Since we are in a playoff fever with the MLB, we did also have NASCAR playoffs here. They did have their final of the round of 12 races here. Let's get rid of the banner just so we can see there are the 8 people that have gone through. Unfortunately, our guy Harvick just, not getting any wins at all this year. Finally came back to bite him in the ass. Made a late charge, but then slammed into the wall. Unfortunately, that's what happens. He kind of had to really go for it, so he unfortunately doesn't make it there. Kyle Larson picks up yet another win this weekend. So you can see they are into the round of 8 starting this week. I believe they are in Texas this weekend for the first round of 8 races. So
which is back, by the way. We'll get into that.
We will definitely be getting into that. So yeah, there you go. You can see Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, and Brad Keselowski all through into the round of 8 here. So yeah, things picking up. Same format as the last couple of rounds. If you win any of the next 3 races, you're guaranteed into the final. So, expect to definitely see some aggressive driving from these 8 guys these next 3 races here.
Yeah, Larson back from the, not really a pun intended because he doesn't really crash out of the race that much. Back from the scrap heap of public opinion with this iRacing debacle. He's had a good year, though. I mean, that guy can drive pretty much any kind of car there is, it seems like. And he also gets out, and I frequently see him, race on dirt tracks, too, on the Fridays before, wherever they're at. So all signs point to him. Can't really argue with Hamlin either. Over the last, 4 or 5 years, he's been one of the elite. Not a great year for Harvick. Just, he was in the playoff mix for a while, but kind of to be expected, I guess I would say, the way his year has gone.
It is kind of one of those things, again, under the old, just, pure points format, he'd probably be a top 5, 6 guy right now just so he does finish so high. But under the new format, I mean, everybody knows it's not a secret, man. You got to get those wins. If you don't have a win, it's almost impossible to get through. So, again, like I said, finally came back to bite him, not having a win all year, finally knocks him out. So what can you do? Better luck next year, Harv. Well, if there is a next year, we'll see the drivers buck on the system if there's any changes or not. I don't know. But, something to keep an eye on the next few weeks here.
And go to Martinsville, the flat half mile, where
there we go.
I'm sure nothing crazy will happen. Get all these guys on a half mile track. That's
nice, good, clean, quick
barely
race.
Banked.
Yeah. Yes. Good, clean, quick race. No issues at all.
Of course.
But we won't be doing a full fight doctor, but just got to throw into the side pieces here. We did have the trilogy fight with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, where Fury picks up the KO win in I believe it was the 10th or 11th round. I can't recall, actually. 10th round, I believe. Awesome fight. And I say awesome, I mean, it was pretty one-sided, but it was just kind of like Wilder taking an unbelievable amount of punishment.
And still coming back to just sort of stay in it.
Yeah, after the second round, I thought he was screwed. And it looks like the Dodgers just gave up the lead. Nice job. Way to go. Home run. Evan Longoria. Nice job.
Up and to the left. Up and to the left.
But yeah, even the first round, Wilder came out strong, just attacking right off the bat. Fury kind of withstood that. Really had him shook in the second round. It looked like I kind of said to myself, man, Wilder is he's already fucked. And then he looked really bad through part of the third round, and then dropped Tyson twice. Both times Tyson got up, one of the times, but a little bit controversial where the ref was already counting, and then for whatever reason he turned and started yelling at Wilder. I don't know if Wilder was charging towards the downed opponent or what, but he like turned and started yelling at him to get in the corner, then turned around and proceeded to count again. So gave Fury a little bit extra time. I mean, I think Fury was going to get up no matter what. It was just kind of like, all right, like ref definitely give him extra time here. And then of course it ends in the later rounds. Tyson Fury just, I mean, anybody who watches Wilder knows, he's not at all a technical fighter. He's not
it's raw power.
Yeah, he's not a conditioned fighter. He's not a technical fighter. I'm going to throw a bunch of like overhand haymakers and knock you out. Like that's how he fights. Fury is this weird combination of like he's huge, he's got good technique, he's got a great chin, and he's got power. Like it's the iron chin of him basically just makes him like impossible for Wilder to beat. And as much heart as Wilder showed, it was just like, look, this dude's not going to get knocked out. Like you're kind of screwed.
I mean, and on my travels, I was not able to see this. I was following along, and thank you, Tyler, and Eddie Justin, for sort of providing the round by round in the text, so I was able to follow that way. I'm just hoping, at least, that Wilder did not come out with the Darth helmet thing again this time, because that seemed like it was sort of tiring last time. It just seemed very heavy and elaborate.
Who would have seen that as a bad idea? I don't know.
It looked awesome. It looked awesome. Man, it's heavy. I'm taking off the chin. The chin kills.
But it is kind of curious to see what's next out there for Fury. I mean, Joshua just recently got beat by Usyk, so you think maybe Usyk's the answer, but now Joshua's invoking his rematch clause. So I don't even know what's out there for Fury. I mean, he is the heavyweight guy right now. I think that's
well. I mean, there is one man.
Ooh, okay,
Mr. Bruce.
I mean,
Smith. That might have something to say about that, but for now, until they can put that fight together, his people are,
Will that be the only fight where a fighter actually has to forfeit because he cannot get through the ropes into the ring?
Well, I'm picturing like a Homer Simpson, like a push,
a real good shove,
rolling through there.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. But there we go. Tyson Fury gets the win, stays the heavyweight king. That was really all I had for the side piece, unless you added something else in there that we.
I have one more, but I just want to get to the comments on that. Shout out Tyson Fury, though. I mean, who doesn't know the historical lineage that is trans-Egyptian belly dancers, a Spartan warrior outfit, and AC/DC? Fair point. On to Cease. Could Tyson Fury knock both of the hosts of this show out at the same time, blindfolded and on his knees? I think that's a resounding
Not only could he, he would.
And
probably should. He probably should.
As we know, fans of this program know, many things in this life are not guaranteed. I would say that's guaranteed.
That's a guarantee.
I will actually guarantee that. And then one more from Justin. Tyson Fury talk the talk, then walk the walk, like an Egyptian, bumping AC/DC. Isn't that the Bengals?
No. Yes. Yeah. Ron, you didn't get to see that, but yeah, that was definitely a very interesting mix on his entrance, wearing like full like Roman centurion gear, but then walking out to AC/DC. Like, I think Justin said it right though. That was just mind games, because Lord knows I was confused. So I imagine everybody in the world had to be confused with that.
And then Justin, one more, cutting his own promo. Yes, Tyson Fury confirming that he could knock us both out blindfolded and on his knees, but he could knock out Lamar Odom. Bitch. So set it up. Let's go. Triller will. Yes, it will definitely involve Triller, I'm sure. When that day finally comes.
Because nobody else is shameless enough to actually organize and book that.
Can you, Justin, whenever you take that fight, just whatever we got to do to hook this up, do like the old school Crystal Palace thing, but just throw like a
the GoldenPalace.com tattoo.
Yeah, just give us like a Quarantine King something on there. Come on, we can henna tattoo. I don't know.
So it just reminded me of that Fox Celebrity Boxing when freaking Danny Bonaducci had like the full back tattoo of GoldenPalace.com.
And it was Danny Bonaducci. It might have actually been a real tattoo.
That's true. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
that's a certified crazy individual. And then the last side piece that just came down the wire here in the last couple hours. It's getting real in the field. For John Gruden, already got caught up in one email controversy earlier. Kind of, try to apologize for it. Look, as far as his first statement that he didn't remember sending the email, I kind of do believe that, because I'm sure he does know, like, yeah, probably sent some stuff in emails that I shouldn't have sent over the years. But as far as him remembering one specific email, I do believe that, because he's just kind of a weirdo.
Sure.
And then more come out, because they are still investigating the Redskins. And, of course, more came out. And that brings us to now. So he is stepping down. A silver lining for the silver and black. Maybe we get out from some of that insane contract. But, yes, the next year or 2 or 3 is probably going to suck. So we will see what happens. But one man, he's told us many times before, and he is a favorite of this program. Look, the instructions were pretty clear. I think he made it abundantly clear at the rookie symposium when he first dropped this gem, and it became one of his, trademark taglines. But Coach Herm, what are your thoughts on this?
You see that button right there? You know what it says? Don't press send. Don't do it. Don't press send.
You gotta not press send. Just
3
don't
simple
press
words.
send.
Don't press send.
Especially when you're making literally millions of dollars and you're on TV every day during the season. Don't press send. Anyone can get caught up, and he is just the latest to get caught up. Again, I'm just disappointed that this took some of the heat off of Urban Meyer, although things ain't going so great over there either. I feel like that's kind of like Cease knows, like a Ronnie Millsap. Any day now. Like that thing's coming down. That thing's going down in flames. I mean, I just don't see a graceful ending to that either. But yes, another in a long line, and I'm not just talking about this past week, which also sucked, with the on the field performance of miserable failures for the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It was really weird. Like, I agree with you in that, like, yes, I could believe that Gruden would just not remember a particular email being sent 10 years ago. Like, I absolutely could remember that. But I don't know, like, kind of when they continually asked about it, because I heard a press conference, I can't remember if it was yesterday or maybe Saturday, where, they continually asked about it, and he just, basically kind of like doubled down, like, look, I don't say bad things. I'm not a bad person. I'm not necessarily calling him that, whatever. But, like, he says that, and then all of a sudden they're like, actually, we've got all these other emails that we found that we said some dumb shit. So
you knew there was going to be more. This Redskins thing is already ridiculous by itself. And now he's on, all over the place. You can read it for yourself. But there's just too many to where it's at like, even Gruden with his mega contract and the structural things that have to happen to rebuild out from under that. Again, silver lining, hopefully they recoup some of the money that they were going to pay to him. But no man can survive that. As far as, if you're an NFL team, like, you're just going to have to can somebody. So someone's going to fall on that sword, and at this point, it's clearly him.
And look, more heads might roll because, again, this is an investigation of the Redskins.
There's going to be more emails to
Lord
the
knows
Redskins.
there's been so much that's come out about the culture in the Redskins front office, really since Snyder's taken over. So, there could be more heads rolling. We'll see, but definitely I imagine Gruden's probably going to be the biggest name, unless they have something on Snyder himself. Gruden's going to have the biggest name of heads that will roll from this. Yeah,
that's just kind of washing away. Urban, you lucked out. You lucky dog. The bulletproof, the Teflon Don, that is Urban Meyer. If it confirms anything, it's that you can finger gun a co-ed in the butt through her jeans, but you can't be a racist. And that remains to be seen, because it's kind of seeming like you can't do either. And I think Urban's also going to go down, because I don't even know how you come back from that, the way that was handled. But
look,
a few more restful nights for Urban recently.
Maybe you can do that if you're 5-0, but you can't do that when you're 0-5.
All right. I like this. Gruden to USC. Heard it here first.
Oh my God.
That's going to be a tough putt for USC. But hey, I mean,
oh boy.
what have you got to lose at this point?
Jeez. I'm kind of wrapping my head around that. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I could see that. I guess.
Barron says time to break out the boys from Brazil to clone Cousin Al. And hell was wrought upon earth with the return of Al.
Just rising from the grave.
Yes, like Undertaker style.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. It's going to suck. The Rangers are going to suck for a while. It's not like they're that great anyway. As Justin pointed out, yes, I vaguely remember those days when they were 3-0, and now we're worse than the Bears. So, what a world! What a world! What a time!
Hey, look,
Raider fan.
Look, we'll get into it, but you're not as bad as the Chiefs, technically.
That is true. Chiefs got some issues, but that will wrap it up for the side pieces. Where do you want to go? You want to hit the MLB?
Let's hit MLB first. Yeah.
All right, let's check in on the bracket here. And yes, that is up to date. The Red Sox have taken out Randy, and the Tampa Bay Rays, unfortunately, Boston moves on. Look at the Sox, though. Look at the White Sox. Up 3-2.
No. That's just the seedings.
Oh man,
That's just what they're seeded.
Oh well,
No.
I thought that was kind of surprising, but
Yes, no. Boston did not win 4 games in a best-of-5 series, but
maybe.
Boston did. I guess they may as well.
They got Verdugo.
That's true. And Kike.
And
Kike, who had
all the
7
boys.
hits. Kike had 7 hits in a row.
And Jock Tober in Atlanta balling out also.
But, so Boston does advance to the ALCS. They're the first team through today. They beat Tampa 3-1. You know, a bit surprising. Definitely thought a team that had 100 wins would show up better, but Boston bats just got hot, man. They were just completely teeing off on Tampa's pitching, which is kind of what Tampa has built themselves on. It's just like a ton of really good pitchers that they could put in any situation, and they got lit up. So, you know, don't like to say it, but shout out to Boston. They got through. The Sox and Houston. Houston currently leads that one 2-1. Funny side note from this year. So this morning, the great Bob Nightingale, who's never wrong about anything,
Never.
Sends out this tweet saying that this is the final day of the season where 4 games are scheduled. There can be no more than 2 games the same day the rest of this year's postseason. Savor and enjoy. Less than 2 hours after he sends that, turns out Game 4 of the ALDS has been postponed. So now there will be 3 games tomorrow, despite what Bob Nightingale said. So Bob Nightingale wrong for the first time ever.
He never misses. This guy never misses. His reputation is impeccable. He had some kind of backwards deal with the devil where he's always perfectly wrong. So you can't. I mean, he's reliable in that way. But
that's true. That's true. But that game will be going on. Like I said, Game 4 will be tomorrow between Houston and the Sox. Houston currently with a 2-1 lead over the White Sox. White Sox looking to take advantage of the home game. Hopefully tie that up, send it back to Houston. Earlier today, Atlanta took a 2-1 series lead over Milwaukee, 3-run home run by Jock Peterson, being the only runs of the game. Milwaukee shut out for their 2nd game in a row. Their bats just have not shown up this postseason. And really, you and I and Nick were talking about it before the show, like really the last 2 or 3 weeks of the regular season, their bats kind of stopped showing up too. I mean, they were in a division where, you know, when was their last important game? Like they were in a really bad division, and they haven't had an important game probably since like early
the
August.
Anti-Cardinals in a way.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The Cardinals had to win for like the last 2 months straight. The Brewers were just sort of chilling their way into the playoffs.
So in that showing, again, you know, Milwaukee's got good pitching, but Atlanta just coming up with some timely big hits right now. So they're up 2-1. They will be looking to end the series tomorrow at their home field. And as we speak right now, the Dodgers currently trailing the Giants in Game 3, 1-0. That series tied 1-1. Rough start for the Dodgers on Friday for sure, making Logan Webb look like Cy Young reincarnated. But then they came back and just the bats showed up Game 2. I mean, unfortunately that's the Dodgers thing, man. Their offense is all or nothing. They're either going to put up no runs, or they're going to put up no runs. They're going to put up 30 runs on you. Like that's it. So hopefully they can show up here, get something going. But we'll be definitely both keeping an eye on that as we both have the game currently on a separate screen.
And CEO Nick does, as it pertains to that Brewers team, 0 for 16 with runners in scoring position last 2 games. That is not ideal this time of year.
Well, and Justin, to your point, I guess he should be able to bunt because he was, I think, what was it, like 0 for 51 batting on the season this year? Like, actually worse than Eugenio Velez that one year he was a Dodger. So, yeah, come on, man, learn to bunt.
And Wood, again, is out of the game now. Dodgers still up in the bottom of the 5th with 2 outs. So we will keep you posted on that as that situation develops. So there's the baseball update for now. Let's quickly hit on college football. There were some interesting results, to say the least. I didn't get to see a whole lot of it, but was following along with well, Tyler, you start us off where you choose to start us off here.
I mean, let's just go down the line from how we got it loaded up here. So let's go start with the big one. Also, I will say this, and Ron, obviously, you know better than any of us. It's not often that we get to give credit to the Baron, but he actually told me Friday night when we were watching that game that Alabama would lose again this year, and Lord knows it took less than 24 hours for that to come to fruition. So shout out to you, Baron.
Yeah, he did. Kept saying, I should have bet Tyler on that game. I don't know if he necessarily said it was going to be that game, but he just said they would lose a game. But,
he did say they would lose a game, yes.
And, I mean, in the grand scheme, look, Alabama's not going to be number 1 right now, but is there any way they're not getting in the playoff? I mean, even if they lose 2 games, I feel like they're getting in the playoff.
Yeah.
Unless that second game is the SEC championship, maybe. I don't know.
Even then, the argument will be like, well, whoever wins SEC is going to be the number 1 seed, pretty much automatic. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to take a hell of a lot for Alabama to not make the playoffs at this point in time. Look, I was kind of shocked. I mean, A&M's quarterback got hurt. They brought in a backup, and Alabama's secondary just looked so bad in the second half of that game. Like very un-Alabama-like. Like they are loaded across the board, and I just kept seeing their DBs chasing 2 yards behind wide receivers in the second half. So, I mean, look, Saban's already a red ass when things are going good. I can only imagine how bad practice is going to be this week for those guys. But look, they're going to bounce back. They'll be fine. As for A&M, this is the first time their offense has showed up this year. Like, if you look at their games, they've been winning like 17-7 all year long. So definitely not what you would expect from A&M. But hey, props to them getting the win over the number 1 team in the country. That's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, the 28 points in the second half for Alabama is very Alabama-esque, but the giving up 17 when you're already down, especially 10 in the fourth quarter, is very un-Alabama. And I saw their defensive coordinator just getting pretty roasted on social media as that was unfolding.
Yeah, deservedly so. Like I said, it was just they looked very un-Alabama-like. So, like I said, they'll bounce back. I think they play Mississippi State this week. So, big look. We love you, Mike Leach, but I don't envy you this week. Like it's gonna get ugly quick on Saturday.
Trust in Leach, but and also yes, thoughts and prayers for the Alabama defensive coordinator, who we all know has to answer to one man. Terrifying. All right.
Next game that we have here, big game. You can see here, ranked 3 and 4. Penn State goes on. Nice comeback win in the fourth quarter. Iowa. Nice fourth quarter comeback to beat Penn State at home. This was a real fun game. Definitely Big Ten in some ways. Hard hitting defense. Decent run games. I don't know. I'm starting to believe in Iowa. I kind of wasn't at the start of the year. I was like, they'll once they kind of like really get into the conference play, they'll fall apart. Granted, they are a different team at home. They always play really well at home and kind of fall apart on the road. But I'm kind of starting to believe in them. Like their offense isn't great, but their defense is really good. Their offense is good enough. So they could. I mean, definitely being in the West Division of the Big Ten, they could easily make an undefeated run into the championship game. What they do from there, who knows? But like I said, I'm starting to believe in them.
Well, there you have it, Tyler, guaranteeing Iowa national champions.
There it is. You have
bold.
it. That is for entertainment purposes only. Please believe that.
Please believe that.
But yeah, it's going to be tougher for Penn State now. I mean, look, the Big Ten right now in this moment is really strong. I think they have 5 teams in the top 10, including obviously Iowa's number 2 now. Penn State is in there. Of course, the Buckeyes, Michigan, and Michigan State, those last 4 teams all being in the same division, so they'll probably be eating each other alive. But the Big Ten looking strong this year. So, again, we'll see what Iowa can do kind of later on in crunch time because, like I said, they're definitely in the weaker division. Like, there's no, Wisconsin is down. Nebraska's not great. The toughest competition in their division in the Big Ten is probably – I can't even say. Just like that's how weak it is. It's just a lot of bad teams. So
Rutgers.
If they don't, no, Rutgers isn't in their division.
Ah.
Let's see. Illinois sucks. Northwestern sucks. Nebraska sucks. Wisconsin sucks. Purdue, no, they suck. I mean, there's nobody in their division. So as long as they just play halfway decent, they should run the table and be undefeated going into the conference championship.
Well, stay tuned, Big Ten fans. But on to what is an annual tradition.
Yes.
It's basically a weekly tradition. And
True.
that is that Texas is back.
They're
got 25 points in the fourth quarter to the Oklahoma Sooners in the Red River Shootout. Oh, man. I mean, from a score standpoint, an entertaining game. I didn't get to really see it. I was just sort of following along with the score. And then you just see the 25 fourth quarter points. I mean, could Texas be any more back than giving up 25 points in the fourth quarter, 35 in the second half?
So did you happen to see the game-winning touchdown play for Oklahoma?
I did not, no.
It was so that they're driving. There's less than a minute left. In fact, I think there's like 30 seconds left. And Oklahoma, it really looked like they were just kind of trying to set up for a field goal. So they did a run play that went for like 50 yards at a touchdown. Just like trying to set up the field goal. And instead, Texas just like completely lets them score.
If they just giving it away, okay.
Like, that is just, man, Texas is just backer than ever with this. It's Big 12. You expect no defense, but this was just something else. Like, this was like your major D1 programs, and these are the best guys you have on defense, really? Like, really?
It is baffling. I mean, say they only gave up 28 points in the second half. At least we'd have overtime. But no, couldn't even muster that. 35 and a death blow.
Yeah, so and the whole time I'm watching it in my head, I'm like, God, these two are going to go into the SEC in a couple years.
Good luck.
And just get murdered on a weekly basis. Like,
show them the Tom Amansky tackling drill video, please.
It was unbelievable watching just how bad the defense was. The funnier thing for Oklahoma too was, preseason everybody was talking about, potential Heisman candidate, potential number 1 draft pick Spencer Rattler. As soon as they pulled him, that's when their offense started scoring.
Yeah, I did see that on just a couple of the SportsCenter little things that I saw, and then comments on social media and stuff. But wow, Texas just staying back, just staying all the way back. Just set your watch to it.
Just a perpetual state of backness. That's all Texas is. But one last game that was actually going on at the same time as this one that was insanely entertaining. Arkansas Ole Miss. You could see the score there. These teams combined for, I think it was like over 1,200 yards of offense in the game.
Beautiful.
Ending with Arkansas scoring with pretty much no time left, and then going for 2 instead of going for the PAT. Which hell yeah, go for it. Why not? Why not at that point in time? Your defense isn't stopping anybody, so why not try and go for 2? Fortunately, it didn't work out for them. Ole Miss finally made the one time a play gets made on defense this entire game, and it's the final 2-point conversion.
We just need one, boys.
That's all you need. Just need that one stop. But this was a ridiculously entertaining game from beginning to end. Ole Miss, their quarterback Corral is legit. Like, he is what everybody was saying Spencer Rattler is going to be. This guy is that and more. He is absolutely legit. But absolutely just crazy entertaining game going on at the same time as the Red River Shootout.
And with that, let's swerve over to the professional ranks. We have a notable NFC West, or as some people are calling it, NFC Best, although some people falling off the pace at this point. But, capable teams out there. Sure. On Thursday, Rams go into Seattle and beat the Seahawks. Obviously, the main story is the health of Russell Wilson with his mallet finger, as it has been allegedly described. Sounds terrible. I think Urban Meyer has a case of the same thing. But, hey, shout out Geno Smith getting out there, leading some touchdown drives, keeping him in the game late. I mean, obviously had the pick at the end to ice it. But, yeah, the Seahawks are reeling. I know Pete is already putting his feelers out there. Hey, just put a word in for the USC job, as Petros did pretty much guarantee. And, of course, it happened literally Monday the following week. But going to be tough for the Seahawks just in this division, especially when you see what the Cardinals are doing, and the Rams been pretty good all season, except for losing to that Cardinals team. So, yeah, it's kind of where do you go from here? I mean, the Seahawks were already sort of a team that was confusing to me anyway, as far as like, okay, there's some talent there, but, who's going to show up week to week? And now with Wilson in question, I don't know. I mean, this is going to be a tough – this is the Geno – this is where he writes his comeback player of the year story, Geno Smith.
So I am glad you brought up Geno, because I did see a funny stat on Friday after this game was with the yardage that he got in this game, he is now as far as the quarterbacks drafted in the 2013 draft, he is number one in yardage out of
there we go. Attaboy.
So you got something there for you, Geno. But yeah, like you said, it's gonna be tough, man. I think they said 6 to 8 weeks Wilson's gonna be out, and basically like he is the offense. So
yeah.
Chris Carson, like he's got a neck thing. Who knows when he's going to be back? I would love to know as a Chris Carson owner in fantasy. But
and the Rams offense is good, but the Seahawks defense looked really bad. I mean,
yeah. This is not the Legion of Boom. Like this is not that defense at all.
And that's really what I mean, even if it wasn't the Legion of Boom, that's usually a defense first team, and then we got Russell Wilson. It could just make miracles happen. But both of those are kind of off the table right now, so I don't know where that leaves you as a team, Seahawks.
Yeah, it's going to get worse before it gets better for them, unfortunately. But, again, good on the Rams. You definitely seen better performances from their offense. 26 points seems kind of low for them, but enough to get the win. Like, they didn't really need much more, especially once Wilson went out. And the Rams are definitely going to be happy to keep pace with the Cardinals, who we'll be getting into shortly. But yeah, good on them, and like you said, it's going to be. I think the NFC West went from being like, oh shit, this division could have like all 4 teams in the playoffs to now like, okay, they're going to have 2 teams in the playoffs.
It's starting to take shape of who's falling off the pace and who's really going to be elite as far as even beyond the division, as far as just the conference. Moving on to Sunday. Fire it up.
The big game that we all woke up early for.
Yes.
From London, Atlanta beating the Jets 27-20. I have nothing to say about this game because I didn't get up to watch that shit. I was getting up at 6 a.m. to watch the Jets and the Falcons. So
the only thing I'll say is that I did actually pick up the Falcons defense. I stashed away the Bills defense just out of fear of the Chiefs, which actually turned out to be probably could have played them too, but it worked out because the Jets suck. Yes. I didn't actually take a look and see what the Bills ended up scoring on defense, but like I said, I'm keeping them on my team. I think in most fantasy formats, they're still like a top 35 scoring player, just their defense, because of all the turnovers and stuff that they generate, touchdowns, whatever. But, not really a game that anyone should have watched, let alone got up early to watch.
Yeah, like I say, I have nothing to say about it because I didn't really see anything. But Falcons getting a win. Good on you guys. We get into the real morning slate here. Packers Bengals. Holy shit, that game got nuts at the end. You had Crosby missing, I think, was it one extra point and two field goals.
Yeah.
Cincinnati missing two field goals, especially one in overtime. Um, Joe Burrow fighting through a throat contusion to try and give the
To
Bengals
then
the
be
win.
hospitalized following the game.
But the Packers capitalized off of the misses by the Bengals, including I think that last one that the Bengals kicker actually thought he made because it hit the flag but it hit left but hit the flag, so he thought it went in. So he was celebrating, and it turns out that the Packers were now getting the ball in great field position to get a couple yards and then kick the winning field goal. Tough loss for the Bengals, but I mean, look, Bengals, they're legit, man.
They
They're
have
legit.
certainly looked better. I mean, it all goes with Joey B, so hopefully his throat has healed enough to where he can maybe practice a couple times this week and make the game. I haven't heard anything as far as it's still too early on to tell
Right.
what's going to go on next week. But yes, throat contusion. That sounds horrible.
The next game, speaking of heartbreaks again.
Damn.
The Lions looked like they had it. They looked like they had it.
It's every week they look like they have it. Every week.
And
they never have it.
No, unfortunately, the Vikings drive down the field. Actually, the Vikings, who normally miss last-second field goals to win, actually make it this time. I don't know if you saw the post-game press conference with Dan Campbell just
upset.
like
upset.
succumbing to tears, which I can't blame the guy. And honestly, you know what? I would love seeing that from my coach. Like, the Lions have been in every game this year. And I know we say that a lot. And look, usually most years there's like 5 games where it's like they could have won it. This year it's been every game they could have won it. They are fighting. It's just like they're just getting repeatedly kicked in the dick at the end of the games. And so, yeah, I definitely understand Campbell's frustration. God, they gotta get that win soon, right?
I mean, I'm holding out hope that it will not be like a classic Lions season, a series of near misses, but you're still last place. I mean, it looks like last place is becoming more and more possible, but I'm just going to trust in Motor City Dan that he will keep the team trying, and eventually maybe they get one and they kind of break the dam down and, go hit a little 3-1 stretch or something like that.
When I look at them, I think they've had teams in the past with better talent that have looked worse. I think on paper, this is one of the worst teams they fielded, but they've been in every game. So
it's just some straight heartbreakers. I mean, the Justin Tucker thing. That's bizarre.
Yeah, the Justin Tucker record-setting field goal that just bounced
only the Lions.
It
had to happen to the Lions.
Yeah, Lions fans, my heart goes out to you. from a Chargers fan.
It's
from a Chargers fan, from a team that has invented new ways to lose games. My heart goes out to you because that's just that. Detroit.
It's a tradition. It is a tradition. On to the next game. Yes. LOL Broncos. I mean, fortunately, something. Well, the Chiefs getting kind of embarrassed was cool too, but they were bound to lose. They were going to play. I'm not saying the Steelers are by any stretch of the imagination a good team, but
no, not at all.
Certainly better than the Jets or the Giants. I mean, come on. We knew the wheels. It's not totally fallen off. They didn't get absolutely blown out, but it seemed like they never really were in the game, from what I could see.
Yeah, it was. I mean, look, I think this is proving that the key to beating Denver is having at least one win when you play them, because Denver has only beaten teams that have not had a win when they played them. Look, the weirdest thing was Pittsburgh's run game looked amazing in the first half. I think Najee had 100 yards in the first half. They were just running all over Denver. Ben was making some nice throws, even though he can't move.
Barely walk at this point.
Denver makes a nice rally in the second half to come back. Oh, I'm sorry. Turner just got on base. They made a nice rally to come back second half. Even had a chance to get a game-tying touchdown, which unfortunately turned into, I believe, it was picked off in the end zone by Pittsburgh. Like, I do just think it's got to be concerning. Like, man, if you're giving up a ton of rush yards to Pittsburgh, like, there's some problems there. Pittsburgh's O-line is really bad. So maybe it was a one-off thing, going from Middle America to the East Coast. I don't know, but roughly, because Pittsburgh is still not good. Like, please don't buy into anything from Pittsburgh. They are still very bad.
I don't buy into anything from either of these two teams yet at this point, even this many weeks into the season.
Yeah. Next game, Tampa. Not much to say about this. Oh, get out. Damn it. Damn. I'm blaming the Marine layer.
Marine layer. Get the hell out of here.
Not much to say about this game. Tampa just goes out there, dominates Miami. Brady had 4 or 5 touchdowns. I don't remember what it was. A couple to Mike Evans. Kind of figured that Tampa. Yeah. Antonio Brown had a huge game. 2 touchdowns on his end. Like you just kind of had to know, like Miami has taken a step back from last year. Maybe last year was kind of like the outlier year. And you knew Tom was going to be like, he got the win against New England, but didn't look that great. So you knew he was going to kind of be pissed, take it on somebody, and they all took it out on Miami. So not much else to really say about this game.
Perhaps, I've heard Tua could be back sooner than later. We'll see what happens, but
that's not going to fix anything.
The only thing I could see is like just maybe for like the continuity, like they were obviously planning on him being the guy. Brissett, I mean, he is what he is at this point.
Sure,
just a professional backup. A guy that could win you some games, could lose you some games. He's always going to show up and try his ass off, but his limitations are what they are. Tua, it's just really like, can he stay healthy? Nobody knows at this point.
Can he stay healthy, and can he throw it more than 6 yards down the field?
Again, we do not know. We don't know. Let's get to the afternoon.
Well, these are still AM games.
Oh, yes.
We had a lot of morning games here. Saints go out, beat Washington. Jameis, you had the best of both worlds, Jameis. He made a couple Jameis plays, and he made a couple Jameis plays. So
that's exactly fire and ice, Jameis.
Jameis take it away. Washington's they're just not good. The defense is not nearly what it was last year. So Justin, congrats on getting that 2 wins a year against a football team for your Cowboys.
No, Washington just taking down the rest of the league with them through a series of investigation emails. Who knows who else is going to fall when this is all said and done? Perhaps Dan Snyder. We don't know.
I'm sure Washington fans would love if that was the case. Next game, Philly. Nice comeback win against Carolina in Carolina. Definitely surprising. Didn't expect that. Carolina, definitely their offense. Yeah, they don't have McCaffrey. That's obviously a huge piece of their offense. Darnold is kind of the last couple weeks not been that great.
Falling off of the hot pace that he started on.
Yeah. And then Philly, I'm still not overly impressed with Philly, but props to them for making a nice comeback, getting the late touchdown to get the win. Again, sorry, Amanda, still just not buying into them.
Well, look, if you're going to go play the Buccaneers, it's better to go in there off a win. Maybe some things that we did right. Maybe we can work on some of this stuff. I don't know. Sirianni, he's got systems all over the place. So
he's got systems within the systems.
There's systems that we don't even know about yet. So maybe he's just, slowly rolling out more systems, and now it's finally kind of coming together. I don't know.
Next up, Tennessee beats up on Jacksonville. Look, what you expect. Jacksonville is really bad. Urban Meyer's going through his own shit right now. Well, going through other people's shit as well. He's going through other people's shit in some ways.
Dealing with he's day to day with the mallet finger. We'll see if he's ready to suit up for next weekend's game.
But Tennessee, there's still concerns about them. Fortunately, their division isn't very good. Houston is, I guess we'll get to them in a minute here. Houston's just kind of whatever. Jacksonville's terrible. Indy, well, actually, I see they actually blew the game tonight.
They did?
They-
Oh my
yes,
God.
they lost 31-25 in overtime. I just saw the final score.
No. Oh man, Pat's gonna be sad about that.
Gave up 16 points in the fourth quarter, excuse me. But I'll have to watch those highlights later. But Tennessee is just like they're the best of a bad group right now. Like Tennessee's defense is terrible. Their offense, the receivers have been hurt, so I guess that foul price is there. Thank God they've got Derrick Henry who can just run the ball 87 times a game.
And if their defense can somehow get a little bit better,
if their defense can get to okay, they will run away with it.
Because the second half of the season is always Derrick Henry feast season, where he's just trucking tired guys that are probably already hurt from weeks of professional football. Yeah. It just gets worse and worse trying to tackle this fool on a weekly basis. So he's still ramping up. We'll see what happens there. And yes, within that division too, the Texans are just really bad. Chaos going on too with the whole Watson thing. They do have the guy, what's his name? The Stanford guy with the huge neck, Davis. His name escapes me, but the new Mike Glennon, that guy. But the Patriots with a bounce back. I mean, they look solid against the Buccaneers, but Buccaneers' superior team just won out. But yeah, I'm not really surprised at all by this.
Yeah, I was surprised at how bad the Patriots looked to start, because Houston should have to do a big lead. Patriots with the comeback. Still not buying into them. I'm not buying into Mac Jones. Just not buying into that team. It's kind of like they will finish second in their division because their division is so bad.
Because they have to.
Because somebody has to finish second in that division. But not much else to say about that game. Getting into the afternoon slate here. I mean, Ron, you were on the road, so I don't know how much of this you got to see. I
got to see quite a bit of it, actually.
I was going to say, I hope you didn't get to see much of it.
No, unfortunately, I saw a good deal of it. Producer Tanaya and I stopped at a local watering hole in Pismo to watch both her 49ers game and my Raiders.
Oh, that had to be a really sad car ride then, if both of you were watching your teams.
It was pretty sweet, too, because the table behind us was a couple that one was a Cardinals fan and one was a Bears fan. I was like, who put you two together?
How did you two meet?
Get out! Get out! Leave! Well, they had a great day. I was happy for them.
Sounds like they did. Sounds like they. Yeah, I mean, look, I was, I had the Chargers game on my TV and I had Red Zone up on my computer, so I didn't get to see much of this game. Not too much of it was on Red Zone. I mean, your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are it was very frustrating, especially that the team starts 3-0. It's now worse than the Bears. Although Fields, obviously it was very clear from the beginning the plan was just to beat the shit out of Fields, which they tried to do many times outside of the rules that are allowed in the NFL. And then there was a couple where it was clear that was the plan. Like, get Fields on the ground, get a little extra hot sauce when you can, with ideally not getting penalties, which of course they did. And then it just sort of fed into itself, because once that became plainly obvious, then they got a couple, questionable calls going against them. But And Fields actually kind of hurt himself trying to take off on a bootleg where he jammed his knee. He did come back in the game. He looked all right. I mean, I don't know what kind of a litmus test that is against what remains of the Raiders defense. Pass rush was supposed to be good. That was supposed to be the strong point. They hit him a couple times, got him on the ground, but as far as a rookie quarterback coming in there, it didn't really seem to bother him too much. He finished the game. He came back in. Raiders just looked inept on offense as well. Matt came back and basically just dragged his nuts all over the Raiders franchise. He looked great. Calling into question, maybe we should have just kept Mac and drafted some random rookie quarterback and not maxed out Carr with all this money. And then yes, the Gruden thing ongoing. It's been a great week for the nation. That's all I want to say. I know Tyler is obviously more optimistic with the outcome. All I know of this game, though, is just look at the score. Wildly entertaining. This is like the Arkansas Ole Miss game of the week in the NFL because it just seemed like a shootout.
Real defensive slugfest here. Just bodies on bodies now. Yeah, I mean, like the score says enough right there. I think the teams combined for over 1,000 yards, which like you just even in the offense-heavy NFL we're in, you don't see that often. It was a wild game. Look, this game highlighted a lot of concerns I have about the Chargers, which is, and I think I had texted you and no ID this. Like, I expected their D-line to get beat by Cleveland's O-line. Cleveland's O-line is legit. Their run game is really good. I didn't expect them to get beat as bad and as horrible as they did. I didn't expect the defense to just look like flailing inflatable tube man, just arm tackling the whole time. I didn't expect the secondary to forget how to cover anybody because they couldn't stay on any of Cleveland's receivers. Njoku was wide open like every play. I think he had 6 catches for like 170 yards. So many defense struggles, but look, Herbert is the truth. That guy is absolutely 100%
He's balling out.
He's balling out.
It's also terrifying for the team in the most chaos in the division. Can't wait.
Eckler is amazing. Like he had a lot of great runs. A lot of like he for being such a small guy, he is a lot more physical than I think people think he is because he was just breaking a lot of tackles as well. Yeah, I will address the big complaint in the room people have. Yes, that was a terrible pass interference call that benefited the Chargers. I won't deny that for a second. Terrible call. The refs were not good all game. That said, plenty of time after that for Cleveland to make a play, and they didn't make plays, and that wasn't the only bad call of the game. So, look, if you're a Cleveland fan, I get it. I would be mad too, but, hey, the Chargers have, been screwed over by bad calls too, so I'm not going to complain about it. That and I didn't see, but I hope the Chargers cut Vizcaino, their kicker, today for missing 2 extra points in one game. Which that's another thing we didn't even talk about. There were 12 missed extra points in the NFL yesterday.
That is not a good week for the kicking game.
That's horrifically unacceptable. Like, look, I won't deny at all. Kicking is not easy. A lot of people say they think they can do it. You can't do it. It's pretty hard. But when you're paid money, like you should be able to make 37-yard kicks in your sleep. Like missing 12, an entire league missing 12 is insane. But again,
Crosby was half of them.
That's fair. Yeah, look, again, this is a game that no doubt, anytime in the last probably 10 years the Chargers lose. I think they've had 3 games this year where they would have lost. Anytime in the last 10 years they would have lost these games. Instead, they're winning. So you know what, man? All praise to Staley. Like I'm not ready to fully say he's turning things around because I've been too beaten as a Chargers fan in the past. But I love what he's doing with this team. I love what Herbert's doing. But like they've got me excited, and it is the hope. As we all know, it's the hope that kills you.
It is the hope that kills you. But if you are trying to sort of break the paradigm of like heartbreaking, inventing ways to lose, the Chargers way, MO, whatever, it helps to have Herbert and Eckler on your team. I will say that.
Well, I will say I did think the Chargers were going to find another way to lose because they had the ball with under a minute left inside Cleveland's 5, and it looked like Eckler was just trying to like stand his ground and waste time. And when he did that, the Cleveland defenders grabbed him and pulled him into the end zone, so that way they could get the ball back, which was a brilliant move on their part. Brilliant move on their defense's part. I was just like, Eckler, like why are you not just taking a knee? What are you doing? Like,
go down, fool. Go down.
So I was worried they were going to come up with yet another way to blow a game, but they managed to not do it. So happy about that. Chargers, number 1 team in the AFC right now. If the playoffs started today, they would be number 1.
Possible MVP.
Definitely.
At least the talk is there MVP. For sure, and it's legit.
Easily.
49ers going into Arizona. I did, see quite a bit of this as well because it was like one of the 2 screens, or I believe the 3rd screen was also the Dallas game was going on at the same time. Oh no, sorry, we skipped over that. I'm sorry.
I thought that was intentional. I was just gonna roll with it.
All right, Justin, we'll talk about it. At this point, I'm Can't really disagree with that. With the explosive playability that they have shown, and also just Seattle's all over the place. And then he goes on. He's watching the Dodger game, so he's with us in spirit in the comments tonight. CDC has requested that all Giants players stay off the field versus the Dallas defense. Emergency rooms are getting overcrowded, and hospital staff is overworked. Flatten the curve, not the Giants players. Danny Dimes. Yeah, Danny Dimes, he took a shot, and I know it was a concussion. I'm sure whatever protocol, I don't know if it's too soon to even be able to clear that. I don't know exactly how that works.
Definitely too soon to clear it, yeah.
He did. I mean, where the concussion, well, who knows? It was like a double whammy. Put his head down, got smacked in the head, and then driven into the ground to the point where he was actually spitting up those little rubber field turf pellets. Like,
is that what it was, or was it his teeth? I really couldn't tell.
It could have been a little bit of both. I don't know. A fine powder, mixture of old Goodyears and some of his teeth, whatever remains in there. I don't know.
But yeah, not only that, before that, Saquon Barkley had gone out, rolled his ankle up on Dallas defender's foot. Injury that you've seen a million times in basketball. His ankle just swelled up like immediately. I don't know if you saw a shot of it, but it was like within a minute of him on the sideline.
Like a softball down there.
But from everything I heard today, they're expecting him. Maybe he'll miss this week, but he should be back soon. So
it's great for all the Barkley fantasy owners out there that he finally was starting to get the sea legs, and then boom, steps on a guy, goes out of the game. I think he had like 4 points at that point in the game. Great.
But I mean, it was slow start for Dallas. Dak didn't look great. I think he threw a pick early on. He fumbled one early on. Slow start, but you just knew as the game went on, like they were going to take over just because New York is not good, especially now they lost those guys, and Kenny Golladay had a knee injury, so that was probably their 3 best offensive players all going out. And then Dallas just piled on from there. I know Zeke had some nice runs. Pollard had some nice runs. I think they had 2 or 3 touchdown passes that actually weren't to Dalton Schultz, which is very surprising because that's kind of been their touchdown guy this year. But, Dallas looking good. Again, slow start, but Diggs getting another interception. I believe that is, 6 interceptions in 5 games, something crazy like that. So Dallas looking good, getting the win, beating the really bad Giants. As Ron was saying, he'll be jumping out again shortly, but I know he's having some camera issues as he tends to do around this time of the night. The Cardinals beat the Niners in a game that was surprisingly closer than I thought. And I don't think it was necessarily because the Niners looked all that great. I just think neither team looked all that good. Trey Lance, hard to judge the guy. He's a rookie. I'm sure he'll get better, but definitely didn't look like the guy yesterday. Cardinals defense did their thing. Niners defense played well. I kind of expected maybe Arizona would put up some more points, but they get the win. Niners kind of falling back with the Seahawks in that, they're running out of, even early on, they're kind of running out of time in the West just because the top 2 teams of that division are so good. So we'll see if Lance can get it going with the Niners, but Arizona rolls on, still undefeated, last undefeated team left, so we'll see if they can keep that going. Then we have the Sunday night game, Bills going into Kansas City. And sorry, I just saw Justin giving you the update. Yes, I did just see that. But the Bills going into Kansas City and just flat out dominating. A bit of a weird game because they did have a bit of a delay, so the game went on longer than normally expected. But Buffalo just goes out there and just flat out embarrasses the Chiefs. I don't know what to say about the Chiefs. It's obviously all the talent is there. They're retaining, they've retained all the same offensive players from the powerful offense they've had the last couple of years. I guess you could explain the defense isn't. Even then, we've kind of always said on the show, like, their defense isn't that great. Like, they have talented players, but it's just they don't mesh together. They don't put it all together as a defense. But their defense has just looked terrible. They've given up 30-plus points in every game this year. In the past, they've been able to rely on – there we go, Ron's back. But they've been able to rely on getting bailed out by their offense. But even this year, the offense isn't that – it's just not as explosive. They're just not putting the points together. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Like I still think the Chiefs will be fine. They still have too much talent on that offense to not be fine, to not get it together. But there's just some weird things going on. I mean, that's twice they've lost at home this year. They're not a team that lose at home. That is, people say Arrowhead is a great home field advantage, and they're 1-2 there this year. And on the flip side, Buffalo's awesome. I know Ron, mentioned potential MVP candidates. I mean, Josh Allen absolutely has to be up there. That
Yeah.
dude is lighting it up.
And I love watching their defense. I mean, that's been the strong point. And then, of course, you get a guy like Allen that turns out to be also sort of like what the Chargers have, where it's like, okay, this guy is going to be the real deal. Like, you don't have to worry about that position at this point. Moss with a slow start, he was like hurt at the beginning of the year. He's just getting going now. Chiefs are, I mean, look, the Raiders could still beat them. They beat them last year, even though the Raiders are going to be in chaos for like the next 3 years, probably. But Chargers, man, are you afraid of playing the Chiefs right now? I wouldn't be.
No, I don't. I definitely don't think it's a guaranteed win.
There's a fear of the Chiefs on every possession because they're still weapons galore. But yeah, where they're at as a team right now, they're gettable.
Right, going into the game, it's not like, okay, well, I'm just going to mark this as an L. It's like, oh no, this is going to be a fun as hell game, and the Chargers definitely can win it. So yeah, you're right. The fear's not there. I almost wonder if it's kind of a thing like, giving $500 million to your quarterback kind of like limits what you can do with your defense. Putting so much,
it's like spread out over like 300 years or something crazy. I mean, in NFL terms, it's not actually 300 years. But.
Yeah, but it's still like they've invested so much money into their offense. And again, they're like, this is the same offense that has been lighting it up the last 2 years, and it's just not quite there this year. I don't know. Again, I think it will get going. It has to get going. But like the defense is just like their philosophy is just like who cares about the defense because our offense is going to bail us out. But this year it just has been happening.
Yeah, and when it hasn't, and I think they're kind of dealing with. I mean, the good thing is for them, they still have weapons everywhere. Yes, Edwards-Helaire is going to miss some time with. I think it was a sprained MCL. Also sucks. That's yet another one of my fantasy players in certain valuable leagues. But we move on past that. They still have the weapons. I do think this whole, some of the concepts that they were originally doing with all these weapons was people just weren't ready for it. But, I mean, all these other defensive coordinators, players, everything where your job is literally to, like, study these guys, they're going to have to tweak it a little bit. I feel like it's not as much of a just, like, an insane conundrum that no one can figure out anymore. Like, they're still going to score. You can slow them down, and you can keep pace with them because their defense is just like a mess right now.
Yeah. I mean, I made the point when you were off. Like, we've both kind of said it the last year. Is like, you look at the names on their defense, like, okay, like they've got good players, but it just never quite comes together. It's just like a whole. Like their individual parts are greater than the whole.
Absolutely.
Kind of the opposite phrase of what you would normally say.
They got playmakers, but it's just not like a unit that you would fear. There's going to be opportunities out there if you know situationally kind of where to go at, maybe like pick on this guy or that guy. There's ways you can, get some points on them. And then with the kind of lumbering start for their offense, like, have a chance like, hey, we're in this game unexpectedly here, 5 minutes left. Like anything could happen.
And they're also not protecting the ball on offense. I think Mahomes has as many picks already as he did all of last year. Edwards-Helaire can't hang on to the ball. So, yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know.
I've seen a few moments this year where I think, Mahomes, I mean, I feel like it's just definitely like an all elite, quarterback. Obviously, like he's shown, but there's been a couple times this year where I feel like he's kind of, I don't know how it's like, maybe bought into some of his own hype a little bit. Like, I can get away with this, like where it's just stuff like a lot of times, yes, you can, but like right now, we just need you to not turn the ball over. Like, if we get it back, fresh set of downs, maybe we get better field position, or maybe not with the defense, but like we just can't be giving the ball away because you're like, I'm Pat Mahomes. Like, I can just no look like back across the field. Like, all right, sometimes We just got to chill and make like the smart football play. Like we get it. You can do some of this stuff, but you just got to find that balance.
Oh, you got to shit me.
And I just saw that as well.
Hell of a play.
Crawford
Hell
up the
of a play.
ladder.
Hell of a play. Got to tip your cap. Yeah, like maybe Commissioner Kwan was right in our group text history. Maybe it's the Madden curse. He's on the cover of Madden.
It's still out there. Yes, the Madden curse is still very much haunting us to this very day.
But all in all, very fun weekend of football here. And we've been here, so we can't talk too much about it. But as we said, Baltimore coming back from way behind against the Colts, tying it up and then winning in overtime.
Hey, good for the Raiders' strength of schedule, though, because we're
There you
going to
go.
need all the help we can get.
That's
It's
where
going to
it's
get
at.
so weird. Oh, my
That's
God.
where it's at. But I believe that is all that we have for this show, Ron, unless I'm missing anything else here.
No, thank you also for doing some of the pre-show work as I was in transit.
Yeah.
Good to be back with you guys. Thank you for hitting us up in the comments. We will be back on Wednesday. Even if this goes to Game 5, it would be Thursday, right?
So it'll be Thursday, correct? Yes.
We good.
Yeah.
We good.
We're good for this week.
And now I got my hack. Shout out to the good people of, I won't mention the name, company I work for. You can find out, for letting me co-op their work computer use as a TV out here. I didn't do anything wrong.
No.
It's totally secure website. It's legal also. No bootlegging.
Very legal. Very cool.
Extremely legal. Extremely cool. So that's all I have. Thank you guys. Thank you, Tyler, Justin, and CEO Nick. Thank you, Cease, hopping in the comments. And damn you, Raiders. Damn you. This is why we can never have nice things, and we will never have nice things. Our stadium's cool, I guess.
It's a nice stadium. It's a very nice stadium. Yeah. Thank you guys again. Apologies for really no notice and just not having a show at all last week. But thank you for understanding that our
situations
our
arise.
Yeah. Look, three very important games last week that happened to fall on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But yeah, thank you, Ron. Great seeing you. Always great seeing you in person.
That's right.
Friday night, having some drinks. Good time.
Shout out to Lamina, letting me drink away the pain.
That's right.
Just getting blasted in the first game, but hey, we're still in this thing. We'll see what happens.
For getting your Mondo margarita in at the happy hour price
right
before
at the buzzer.
The time limit. Yeah, that's clutch. But thank you guys very much for tuning in. We'll be back here on Wednesday. You guys know the drill. We love you. Keep the fire.
Don't press send. Do not press send, for the love of God.